Today, we're diving into a story of transformation. But this isn't a journey you can track on a map. It's about a shift, a massive shift from the fog of human searching to the sharp clarity of a divine purpose. This is the story of how a man named Abram became a pilgrim, not because he found a path, but because he finally heard the voice of the one who makes the path.
And really, this is the core question, isn't it? How do you go from being just an observer of the heavens to becoming the inheritor of a promise as vast as the stars themselves? It's a huge leap, a powerful shift from being a watcher to becoming a walker. And believe me, it starts long before that famous call you've heard about.
So let's meet the man himself, Abram. The sources paint this incredible picture of him. He's got this quiet fire inside, you know? He's calm, confident, with this intense look in his eyes, like he's always observing, always thinking. And deep down, there's this growing feeling that he was made for something much, much bigger than the life he was living.
Now, Abram's story actually picks up with his family already on the move. His father, Terah, had packed up the entire household and left their home in Ur. You can just imagine the dust rising from their caravans of livestock and people. They were heading for Canaan, but they stopped. They settled in Haran, this place with wide-open fertile plains that were absolutely perfect for their herds.
And what's so fascinating is that even here, before the big divine call, Abram is already a leader. People see something different in him. They notice his integrity, and they can just tell that, as the text says, the Lord, his God, was with him. He starts attracting people to his household, teaching them, and his tent literally becomes this beacon for anyone looking for a more righteous way to live.
But even with this good life, that inner fire we talked about, it's still burning. Abram is still searching for a kind of clarity that these green fields in Haran just can't give him. And this leads to one pivotal night, a night of intense personal struggle under the stars that is going to change absolutely everything. So picture this. Abram is out there, all alone, under this massive, star-filled sky. He's doing what people back then did. He's studying the heavens, trying to predict the year's rainfall from the signs in the stars. He's out there looking for answers, trying to figure it all out on his own terms.
And then, in that deep, dead quiet of the night, it hits him. A breakthrough. It's this piercing realization that just cuts through everything. He understands that all his efforts are pointless. The power isn't in the signs he's trying to read. It's in the hands of the one who made them. It's like he's been staring at the map when all along he should have been talking to the guide.
And that one thought just shatters everything. His whole life is suddenly up in the air. He's torn. Should he go back to his roots in Ur? Or should he stay in Haran, where they've built this new life? Where does he actually belong? What is the right way forward?
And this is the turning point. All his searching finally transforms into this raw, honest prayer for guidance. He admits he can't trust himself, admitting to the deceit in his own heart, and just asks God to take over. This is the exact moment a seeker becomes a pilgrim, ready to follow instead of trying to forge his own way.
Well, a plea like that does not go unanswered. After 3 years of living this settled yet searching life in Haran, the moment of divine intervention finally comes. This isn't just the climax of his inner struggle. It's the beginning of a story that will span the globe.
And the text is so direct about this. This isn't some vague feeling or a dream he has to interpret. After that night of surrender, after 3 years of waiting, the answer arrives with unmistakable personal clarity. It says the Lord appeared to him.
And here it is, the command that kicks off an epic story. Think about it. He's told to leave everything. His country, his family, his home, everything comfortable and known, for a destination that isn't even named. Just go to the land I will show you. That requires an insane level of trust.
But with this massive command comes a set of promises that are just as huge. He's not just going to be a wanderer. He's promised that he'll become the father of a great nation, that his name will be great, that he will be a blessing to the entire world, and that he'll have divine protection. This isn't just a command, it's the beginning of a covenant.
Okay, so getting the call is one thing, but being ready for the mission, that's something else entirely. What happens next is this incredible period of divine teaching. Seriously, think of it like a training arc, designed not just to guide Abram, but to restore a type of knowledge that had been lost to the world.
This part is just mind-blowing. God doesn't just give Abram directions, he gives him a whole new way to understand reality. The source says his mouth and ears were literally opened to speak Hebrew, which it describes as the original language of humanity, the language of creation that was forgotten after the Tower of Babel.
And you can see just how significant this is. The whole confusion of languages at Babel scattered people and buried ancient truths. What's happening to Abram is a direct reversal of that. He's being given access to this pure form of communication, which lets him copy and study old books from his ancestors, and the parts he can't figure out, the Lord reveals them to him, line by line, restoring lost knowledge.
So now, armed with this divine mission and a restored language, Abram faces his first real-world test. He has to tell his father, Terah, that he's leaving. And this isn't just about logistics. It's a deeply emotional moment, a really tender and bittersweet farewell. Terah's response is just, wow. It's so moving. There's no fight, no argument, just a blessing. He releases his son to this higher calling with so much grace and love. He even makes this one request: if you find a good place, come back for me. It's just a beautiful, supportive father-son moment.
And so, with his father's blessing and God's command in his ears, the journey finally begins. All the waiting, all the seeking, all the watching, it's over. Now it is time to walk.
And you've got to understand the context here. Abram is 50 years old. This isn't some reckless adventure of a young man. This is a deliberate, life-redefining choice made in his prime, and that just shows you the incredible weight of his commitment.
He gets up at dawn, gathers his wife Sarai, his nephew Lot, his whole household, and he leaves. And his very first act when he gets to the Promised Land, it's not to conquer or hide. He pitches his tent right in the middle of everything, a clear statement of peaceful, faithful presence among the Canaanites who already live there.
And it's right there that God appears to him again, and he confirms the promise with words that bring this whole journey full circle. As countless as the stars, the very same stars he once stared at in confusion have now become the symbol of his incredible future.
Abram's response is immediate. It's powerful. He builds an altar. This physical act grounds the divine promise in the real world. It's a landmark, a declaration of faith, and an act of worship that anchors the very beginning of his new life, and really, the story of an entire nation. And that leaves us with this final thought. Abraham's story is all about moving from seeking answers out in the world to trusting the one who made that world. And it kind of makes you wonder, right? When our own path is unclear, what does it really take to make that first concrete step of faith, to build that first altar?